Welcome to the Vault, the safe place for paranormal evidence. It's time to take another book from our archives and open up the pages to tell another thought-provoking, unexplained, mysterious story. This is a story about an alien visit to VARGINHA. On the morning of 20th of January 1996, the city of VARGINHA in southern Minas Gerais awoke to a disturbance that would soon become one of Brazil's most enduring mysteries. Known for its coffee trade, quiet neighborhoods, and predictable routines, the city found itself thrust into an international spotlight after reports emerged of an alleged extraterrestrial encounter. The first public account came from three young women, Liliane and Valkyria Silva, and their friend Katia Andrade, who claimed to have seen a strange creature in the Jardim Andia neighborhood. Their description was unusually consistent: a small humanoid figure with brown oily skin, enlarged red eyes, and a posture suggesting injury or distress. The girls reported that the creature appeared frightened, crouched against a wall, and emitting a strong, unpleasant odor. Local residents reacted with a mix of disbelief and alarm. Within hours, rumors spread through the city markets, bus stops, and cafes. The story reached radio stations, then newspapers, and soon the national press. VARGINHA, a city accustomed to anonymity, found itself at the center of a phenomenon that defied conventional explanation. Authorities initially dismissed the sighting as a misinterpretation, perhaps a sick animal, or a case of mass hysteria. But the atmosphere in VARGINHA shifted noticeably. Residents reported unusual military activity, including army trucks moving through the city and soldiers stationed near normally quiet areas. The presence of uniformed personnel, combined with the growing number of eyewitness accounts, intensified public speculation. By the end of the day, the incident had evolved from a curious rumor into a matter of national intrigue. The question facing journalists, investigators, and residents alike was simple: had VARGINHA witnessed an extraordinary event, or was the city caught in the grip of a collective imagination? As reports multiplied, attention turned to the Brazilian military, whose movements in and around VARGINHA raised further questions. Witnesses described unmarked vehicles, late-night convoys, and restricted areas cordoned off without explanation. The military's official stance remained firm. No unusual operations were underway, and no unidentified creature had been captured. Yet civilian testimony painted a different picture. One of the most cited accounts came from Carlos de Souza, a local man who claimed to have seen a cigar-shaped object descending rapidly over the rural area near VARGINHA. According to Souza, the object appeared damaged, trailing smoke and wobbling as it fell. He later reported seeing military personnel recovering debris from the site, including metallic fragments and scorched vegetation. Souza's description aligned with other reports of a possible crash. Several residents claimed that they had seen soldiers retrieving an unidentified body from a wooded area. Others described a strong chemical odor lingering near the alleged recovery site. The military denied all such claims. Despite official statements, the pattern of testimony remained consistent. Residents reported seeing soldiers carrying large crates, loading sealed containers into trucks, and restricting access to certain roads. The secrecy surrounding these activities fueled speculation that the military was concealing evidence of an encounter. A particularly notable claim emerged from a young soldier, speaking anonymously, suggested that the army had indeed captured something and transported it to a facility outside the city. He refused to describe the object or entity, but stated that personnel were instructed not to look at it directly. The combination of military silence and civilian testimony created a narrative that was difficult to dismiss. While no physical evidence had yet been publicly verified, the consistency of eyewitness accounts suggested that something unusual had occurred, something the authorities were reluctant to acknowledge. Attention soon shifted to the regional hospital of VARGINHA, where rumors suggested that the unidentified being, injured or deceased, had been taken for examination. Hospital staff became noticeably guarded, and certain wings were reportedly closed to the public without explanation. Multiple witnesses described seeing armed soldiers escorting a sealed container into the hospital. Others claimed that medical personnel were instructed to avoid discussing the incident. The atmosphere inside the facility, according to several accounts, was tense and unusually controlled. Years later, renowned neurologist Dr. Italo would come forward to the world's press with claims that he had seen and studied the alien entity in 1996. One of the most troubling elements of the VARGINHA case involved military police officer Marco Eli Jarez, who reportedly participated in the alleged capture operation. Days after the incident, Jarez developed a sudden and severe infection. His condition deteriorated rapidly, and he died under circumstances that remain disputed. The official cause of death was listed as a bacterial infection. However, family members and colleagues stated that Jarez had been healthy prior to the incident, and that the nature of his illness was unusual. Some claim that the military discouraged questions about his involvement in the operation. A hospital worker, speaking under anonymity, described seeing a small humanoid figure brought into a restricted room. According to the witness, the being appeared weak, emitted a strange clicking sound, and had physical characteristics matching earlier civilian descriptions. The witness claimed that the creature died shortly after arrival, and that its body was removed by military personnel. No medical records of such events have ever been released and remain classified. The combination of Jarez's death, the hospital's secrecy, and the consistency of witness statements contributed to the growing belief that the VARGINHA incident involved more than misidentification or rumor. While no official confirmation was provided, the hospital chapter remains one of the most debated aspects of the case. In the weeks following the incident, VARGINHA became a focal point for UFO researchers, journalists, and skeptics. The city's residents found themselves at the center of a national debate, with opinions divided between those who believed the military had concealed evidence and those who argued that the event was a product of misinterpretation and media amplification. Despite repeated denials from the Brazilian army, the case continued to attract international attention. Documentaries, books, and investigative reports examine the incident from multiple angles, often highlighting the consistency of civilian testimony and the unusual behavior of military personnel. Over time, Virginia embraced its reputation. The city erected statues, hosted conferences, and developed tourism centered around the incident. The ET da Virginia became a cultural icon, symbolizing both curiosity and unresolved mystery. Yet the core questions remain unanswered. Did an unidentified craft crash near Varginha? Did the military recover a non-human entity? Was the death of a police officer connected to the incident? And why did so many witnesses describe similar details? Without official documentation, the truth remains elusive. The Varginha incident occupies a unique place in Brazilian history, a blend of testimony, secrecy, folklore, and unresolved evidence. Whether interpreted as genuine extraterrestrial encounter or a complex chain of misunderstandings, the case continues to provoke debate 3 decades later. For many residents, the events of January 1996 were real, unsettling and unforgettable. For investigators, the incident remains one of the most compelling UFO cases in South America, and for the broader public, Varginha stands as a reminder that some mysteries resist simple explanations and remain unexplained. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Story Time, and we just want to say thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you here again on The Vault, the safe place for paranormal evidence.